Let's go to Wellington now with the time at 12 minutes past 5. New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters says huge progress has been made in coalition talks as his team shuttled back and forth to meetings with National and Labour for a fourth consecutive day. Mr Peters says he will make up his mind which way he will go by tomorrow night, but the man in charge of the party holding the balance of power in this country says the public will not find out until an unspecified later date what the decision is. With the wrap-up of another day of negotiations, here's our political reporter, May Heron.
The last few days have looked very much the same. New Zealand First goes back and forth between the two major parties, National Labour. Every day, Winston Peters gets stopped as he enters and exits the talks. Every day, he gets asked about what was discussed. Every day, we are reminded the talks are confidential. Today, Mr Peters says there's been huge progress.
Finding out what we agree on, what we don't agree on, what we can still negotiate on, and where we might take things into the future by cooperation. So that at the end you may not have their decision or our decision as a policy, but a mutual decision.
But again, no details around which policies are being discussed. Winston Peters wouldn't budge today, even when asked about one of his favourite talking points, immigration.
Now, is this an attempt to entrap me in a comment which I can't make, which I told you on day one I couldn't make? I mean, can we try and cooperate here without me looking like I'm being evasive, because I'm not?
There also haven't been any chats about specific ministerial roles.
I said it's all about policy, and it is. We've never mentioned anything about personal preferment or position at all.
Labour's Jacinda Ardern is also keeping relatively mum and repeating the same script. Positive, progress, policy.
Party looking forward to holding another meeting this evening, again to continue to talk about the policy priorities and how we can move forward New Zealand both economically and socially.
But if Labour is an echo chamber, National is radio silence. The last time we heard from them was Monday night. And while Winston Peters says a decision on any deal will be made by tomorrow, he's being coy on when the public can expect an announcement. It could be Friday, it could be the weekend, it could be much later.
No, look, we're worried about the process tomorrow.
Can you tell us
We are not going to be leapfrogging all over the place. You know what we're doing? We've got a plan and we're sticking to it.
Each of the parties have their own ratification process. The Greens have to hold a special general meeting of national delegates, and that could be held online or via phone conference. Labour's 20-member Executive Council would sign off on any deal. National and New Zealand First will consult their respective board and caucus. Mr Peters will not say if his board, which includes himself, his deputy Ron Mark, plus Brent Catchpole and Anne Martin, will convene on Thursday night to talk over any decision. Labour has also been meeting daily with the Greens, who are also needed to make up the numbers in any deal with New Zealand First. The Greens leader, James Shaw, says he's confident he'll be happy with any deal Labour comes up with.
You know, Jacinda made kind of fairness one of her sort of principal values in the campaign. I've known her for a number of years, and I said this before the election. I trust her, and she seems to be doing a good job of it.
Despite refusing to meet with the Greens directly, forcing the party to negotiate through Labour, Winston Peters says he's got nothing against James Shaw.
I've never had a bad word with him or about him that you can possibly quote, because I've never said something bad about him in my career.
And while it's difficult to get any answers around what policies are on or off the table, we did find out what politicians are snacking on. Cheese scones at Labour and Greens, and a ginger loaf, possibly baked by Jacinda Ardern herself, for talks with New Zealand First. Though Mr Peters wasn't too happy to be quizzed about that.
How was the ginger loaf?
The what?
There was cake at this meeting, I understand.
Look, this is a rather serious issue, right? It's about the next government of this country, and you ask me about a cake?
No word on what treats will be on offer during further talks with National and Labour tonight. From Parliament for Checkpoint, May Heron.